Welcome back, Focus Learners, to another explainer. Today, we're immersing ourselves in a really fascinating blend of global policy and poetic philosophy. We're looking at a short, but honestly profoundly dense piece called Trips and Duty, written by Oluyomi Oladavid. Throughout this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly how she sees the world. Her work is literally a masterclass in taking these massive socioeconomic concepts and condensing them into single, striking sentences. We're going to explore her maxims, her totally unique perspective, and how she brilliantly uses language to frame some seriously complex global development ideas. Okay, let's dive into this. Economy loves the map. Before we even talk about who she is, just think about how she opens this piece. It's incredibly abstract, yet it immediately grounds us. She isn't giving us a spreadsheet or some dense academic paper here. She's giving us a vivid mental image. Economies rely on boundaries, logistics, routes, and geographic realities. The map represents structure, right? And she's telling us that the economy absolutely thrives on that structure. It's a striking economic thought that serves as the absolute perfect hook into her deeply analytical mind. Section 1. Meet Oluyomi Oladavid, the policy strategist. To really understand the profound maxims she writes, we need to understand the fascinating dual nature of the mind that produced them. On one hand, she's deeply invested in the very practical, highly analytical world of global development. But on the other hand, she is clearly drawn to deep spiritual and philosophical contemplation. It's this exact intersection that makes her writing so unique and powerful. When you look at her brand and her background, you learned pretty quickly that she is a proud Nigerian. And the very first thing she tells us about herself is that she loves people. That is her starting point. And from that genuine love for people, she builds her ultimate goal: to provide absolute clarity in a complex world. She isn't just looking at macroeconomic numbers, she's looking at how those numbers impact actual human lives. Every policy she examines, every strategy she crafts, is totally rooted in her foundational love for humanity. Her core passions reveal a lot about her approach. Starting right from her deep love for people, she's driven by global development and transformation. She loves generating solutions, influencing policy and strategy, and most importantly, providing clarity. This highly technical background in policy shapes the unique lens through which she writes. So when she gives us a poetic line, it isn't just whimsy, It's the distillation of complex strategic thinking. She takes the massive, unwieldy problems of global transformation and boils them down to their absolute essence so that her readers can clearly understand them. Section 2. Economy, Development, and Society. Let's actually shift gears now and examine how she views these structural foundations, beautifully combining her macro-level policy expertise with her micro-level understanding of the human condition. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact duality we've been talking about. On a personal micro-level, gratitude keeps the hut. The hut represents our personal lives, our immediate surroundings, our peace of mind. And it's sustained by a deeply personal virtue, gratitude. But then she instantly shifts to the macroeconomic view. Value chains sustain the village. Boom. The village, the broader community or society, requires robust, interconnected economic value chains to survive. She just seamlessly bridges the emotional health of the individual with the economic health of the broader community. History names a street. Just think about that for a moment. When we talk about global development and transformation, which, by the way, she does every single day, we are really talking about creating a legacy. She sees that the ultimate result of societal development is permanence. The people, the events, and the triumphs of our time eventually become the very infrastructure of the future. The literal streets we walk on are named after history. It's her profound way of reminding us that the work we do today, the policies she helps influence right now, will permanently shape the physical world of tomorrow. Which leads us perfectly into this next concept. Development keeps the mind. Her daily work in global transformation requires constant, rigorous mental engagement. She's telling us here that progress isn't just physical or economic, it's deeply intellectual. To develop a nation or a community, you have to constantly engage the collective mind. And on a personal level, for her as a policy strategist, being actively involved in development is exactly what keeps her own mind sharp, focused, and purposeful. It ties right back to her core passion for actively generating solutions. Section 3. The Colors of Character. Let's move to and see how this builds into an entirely different type of metaphor. She shifts her focus from macroeconomics to the virtues of the human spirit, using colors in a beautifully evocative way to describe human character traits. Amber rarely catches cold. Let's unpack this vibrant metaphor she's created. Think of the color amber. It exudes warmth. It's a glowing, almost protective light, right? She's using amber to represent a warm, incredibly resilient character. Someone who possesses this amber quality has an inner warmth that makes them practically immune to the cold of negativity, cynicism, or external hardship. It's honestly just a beautifully vivid way for her to describe emotional resilience. Next, she writes, brown rarely flaunts an opinion. If amber is warmth, she uses brown to symbolize ultimate groundedness. Brown is the color of the earth, the rich soil. It represents a character that is deeply rooted, incredibly humble, and possessed of a quiet, unshakable strength. A person characterized by brown doesn't need to loudly broadcast their opinions or aggressively seek validation. Their power lies in their steady, unassuming presence. She clearly values this type of quiet competence in the often chaotic world of global policy. Purple rarely accepts vanity. Now, historically, purple is the traditional symbol of royalty, nobility, and deep dignity. What she's doing here is framing true dignity, true purple, as a powerful force that actively rejects superficiality. Vanity is cheap, vanity is hollow. But true nobility of character, the purple she describes so elegantly here, has far too much substance to accept something as weightless as vanity. It's a really powerful statement on the depth of character she so clearly admires. Section 4. Action, Truth, and Peace. This brings us to our final thematic bucket. We've looked at her views on the economy and character, and now we transition to how she views insight, the learning process, and the literal actions we must take out in the world. She beautifully balances the mind and the body here. For clarity, we have insight clears the rubble. When you have a complex problem, maybe a totally convoluted policy issue, it feels like a massive pile of rubble. It's her insight, her strategic thinking that acts as a bulldozer, clearing the way. But insight alone isn't enough. Moving to action. Beautiful feet are occupied. This is so profound. Once the path is clear, you actually have to walk it. She views purposeful, busy action as something fundamentally beautiful. Your feet are beautiful when they're occupied with meaningful work and active duty. Willing sheep consumes truth. Here, she masterfully analyzes the posture required for true learning. A sheep is often used metaphorically to represent a follower, someone being guided, but she adds the absolutely crucial word, willing. It represents an open, highly receptive character. You cannot force truth upon someone who is resistant. Actually, it's only the willing, humble mind that can truly absorb and consume truth. In her line of work, navigating complex policy and global strategy, finding people who are willing to confront and consume the hard truths of a situation is absolutely vital for success. Section 5. The Wheel Within. As we bring this explainer toward its emotional peak, we have to look at the engine that drives everything else for her. We literally cannot fully grasp her insights on global development or character without connecting her professional work directly to her deep personal faith. In her biography, she explicitly writes, "My Father God owns and rules the universe. He is the wheel within my wheels." So the crucial point is this. Everything we've discussed today, her drive for global transformation, her immense love for people, her relentless pursuit of clarity, it is all powered by this central spiritual engine. She sees her own actions, her wheels, as being animated and guided by a higher divine wheel. Her socioeconomic work is inextricably linked to her spiritual worldview. She does not separate her faith from her duty. Her faith is the very thing that propels her duty forward. And that ultimate spiritual guidance brings us to her final, stunning maxim: peace keeps the grass green. This is such a beautiful summary of spiritual, societal, and even environmental harmony. Think about everything she does, generating solutions, influencing major policies. The ultimate overarching goal of all that work is peace. Without peace, communities wither, economies completely fail, and societies fracture. But with true peace, the foundation is completely secure, allowing life, prosperity, and the vibrant green grass of true growth to flourish. Which leaves us with a final question to consider, turning her final maxim right back onto you. What keeps your grass green? What are the foundational values, the value chains, or the spiritual wheels that keep your life flourishing and growing? Oluyomi Ola-David has shown us how she beautifully intertwines policy, poetry, and profound faith to sustain her world. I highly encourage you to reflect on these maxims and apply her brilliant philosophy to your own life. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer, and keep learning.